Welcome back. The document on the screen does not appear in the 5th edition of the Cambridge Latin course, but I want to discuss it briefly because it'll provide some additional context for the story that we'll read in Unit 3, the Green Book. It's entitled Testamentum, and of course it's the last will and testament of our friend Barbilus. Testamentum, the word, comes from testis, witness, testify, testimony, other derivatives of this word, and of course a testament is a document that bears witness to the wishes of the deceased. Right? In legal documents of this sort, it's conventional to use extra clear language, to use words that wouldn't otherwise be necessary. And in fact, the phrase last will and testament is a pretty good example, because a will and a testament are the same thing. So why do you have to say it's the will and the testament? Just to be extra clear. Right? So when we begin with the Latin here, we'll see a good example in the use of the pronoun here, ego. Strictly speaking, it's not necessary. Facio ends with an O. It's a first-person verb. Usually we don't see it. But in a document like this, ego, facio, everything's got to be extra clear. Ego Tiberium Claudium Rufum heredem meum facio. All right, so you've never heard of Tiberius Claudius Rufus before, but you've heard of Rufus, because that's been his name the whole time. Tiberium Claudium. He shares these names with his father. If you look down at the very bottom of the screen, Tiberius, Claudius, Barbilus, those just happen to also be the names of the second and fourth Roman emperors. So these names indicate that both Barbilus and Rufus are Roman citizens, right, despite not necessarily being Romans originally. So here I make Rufus heredem meum. Here's what I make him. And these words are also in the accusative case, right? I make Rufus my heredem. Now, you think of the word heredity, hereditary, and you know what this word means, my heir, H-E-I-R in English, the person who will inherit my possessions, right? So I make him my heir. However, if Rufus, si Rufus filius meus mortuus est, if Rufus, my son, is dead, then in that case, ego quintum caecilium iucundum heredem meum facio. I make Quintus Caecilius Iucundus my heir. So apparently he had no other relatives. His wife was gone, so he was going to leave it all to Quintus if it turns out that Rufus is dead. So all Quintus has to do is find Rufus and kill him, and he will inherit everything that belongs to Barbilus. Just kidding, maybe. Moving on, the language that Barbilus uses here is specifically legal do, lego. Those are both first-person verbs. I give, I choose. I know lego means I read, but the root meaning of this word, to choose, is evident in derivatives of it, Latin compounds of it, like eligo. To choose out, to pick out, to elect, right? So here, as a legal formula, these words go together just to mean I give and bequeath, right? I give and select for dative object Quintus Caecilius Iucundus, my amigo, my estate. So I bequeath and give my estate, which is propenilum situm, my estate quod propenilum situm est, right? So just explaining which estate, I give this to Quintus Caecilius Iucundus. Now, some people you haven't heard of, Marcum et Philadelphum, right? So Marcus and Philadelphus, servos meos, my slaves, libero. Right, so I free Marcus and Philadelphus, my slaves, because they servierunt, they have served me fideliter, loyally, with loyalty, with fidelity. Right, so it wasn't unusual for Romans to free slaves upon their death in their will. Probably more common for slaves to save up money all their life and pay the master to free them, and then the master would use the money to buy more slaves. But that's another issue. He freed these two slaves because they had been faithful to him. Do lego, he says, I give and bequeath to Marcus, viginti aureos, 20 gold coins. To Philadelphus, I give quindecim. He knows why, right? So I give Marcus 20 gold coins. Philadelphus, 15. Anam, right? Anam, quae ornatrix uxoris meae erat, who was, right? Anna, who was the ornatrix uxoris meae, the hairdresser of my wife, libero. Turns out she was a slave too. I free her because uxori meae bene serviebat, because she served my wife well. Ceteris servis, to the other slaves who will remain nameless, at least those who in villa mea plusquam quinque annos habitaverunt, novas tunicas do. So to the other slaves who lived in my house for more than 5 years, I give new tunics. So Marcus and Philadelphus got their freedom and got some money. Anna got her freedom. Everybody else got a new t-shirt, except for the ones that lived there less than 5 years, and they didn't get anything. Formioni, this is to formio in the dative case, willico meo, my willicus, qui me adiuvit, who helped me, right? Postquam iste servus me vulneravit, after this slave, iste servus, I suppose he means the one who threw the spear, wounded me. Libertatem do, I give libertatem. So Formio was a slave as well. A willicus, a master, an overseer, was typically also a slave that's put in charge of lesser slaves. So here he freed Formio as well. Petroni medico, to his doctor Petro, qui me sanare temptavit, who tried to heal me. Quingentos aureos lego. Now that's a lot. He gives him not quinque, right? Not quindecim, but quingentos. In Spanish, quinientos, 500. So that's a lot. So I leave to him 500 gold coins, right? He could buy 10 glass shops in Alexandria because Quintus spent 100 purchasing that one for Clemens. So it's a lot of money. Petro medicus optimus est. Petro is an excellent doctor. Ego, I am a vir stultissimus. I am a very stupid man. Scelesto astrologo, to the wicked astrologer, qui mihi mortem intulit, who brought death to me. All right, so he knows who was to blame. Neque libertatem, neque aliquid, quiquam aliud do. All right, so neither nor, neque do I give. So I give him neither liberty nor anything else. It is necessary for Quintus, my friend, to punish him. All right, now there's a subsequent story where this will come up. I command or commend in trust, really, mando, quinto caecilio iucundo, curam funeris mei, care, responsibility, really, genitive, objective genitive, of my funeral, responsibility for my funeral. Quintum iubeo monumentum mihi ponere, I command Quintus to ponere, to set up a monumentum, a monument for me, set up my headstone. And then it says in the third person, Tiberius Claudius Barbillus signavit, signed. meaning, right, not really signature. He wrote this whole thing by hand, right? That's what's with the Olive Garden looking font. But he applies a seal ring. He sealed it or signed it. All right, so that's the last will and testament of Barbilus. Keep that in mind as Quintus searches for Rufus in Britannia, what the stakes are in finding him. Right, so like I said, this is a short one. We will reconvene next time in the Green Book, and we'll be back in Britain without so much as a quotation mark, telling the story from there. So see you next time. Stay safe.